Hello everybody, I'm Lao Bai, and welcome to Lao Bai's World. Today, we are talking about collecting and collections. Hey everybody, I'm a collector. I have been collecting things since I have been a child. Are you a collector? What do you collect? Let me know in the comments below. Now, when I was very young, I collected stamps and I collected coins, but I didn't take it too seriously. I also collected a lot of comic books that I haven't looked at in 40 years. Who knows, maybe they're worth something. I'm going to actually open those boxes up and take a look one day on camera with you. But for now, let's talk about one of my more modern collections. Now, as a kid growing up, of course, I loved video games. What kid doesn't? But we didn't have a lot of money, so I never had an Atari or a Nintendo or any of the game systems that my friends and other people had. When I wanted to play games, I had to go to the arcade. And when I went to the arcade, I had to have a lot of coins. Of course, obviously as a kid, I didn't get to play as many arcade games as I wanted to. I could have been playing them all day long, but I simply couldn't. However, now as an adult, I have a lot more options. Not only can I buy modern, sophisticated, fancy game consoles like PlayStation and Xbox, but now I can play retro game systems where I can play the old Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, arcade, etc., etc. I can play all the games. So I have started collecting game systems, whether they are handhelds or consoles or unique devices, in order to play all the old arcade games that I used to love. So I want to share my arcade collection with you. And if you have any questions about my arcade collection, by all means, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer your questions and let you know where I found these devices and how I set them up. Let's start out by checking out my 8-bit lower end retro handheld collection. Now I have 3 right now that are I consider to be the lower end, and let me show them to you. There's this guy, which it looks like a Game Boy. It's not a Game Boy. No cartridges, nowhere to put anything. You can't upgrade or do anything to this. It is just this. We're going to look more closely at it later. You can plug this into your TV, and it does come with a second controller, so you could play this with a friend, either on here or on the TV. Now, the next device is this guy, and it's called the GB Station. Once again, it's not a Game Boy. It really isn't. Now, this one does have this nifty game cartridge. Let's see if we can focus on that. Super Classic Card 1. Not a Game Boy. When I turn this on, you will see what I'm talking about. And my third and favorite of my NES, Nintendo 8-bit devices is my chicken. It is a chicken. The little wings, it has 2 little wings on the sides here that are buttons. It has a funky little rubber crown on it. It is very, very cool. And look at the size of it. This is actually, I'll give you a little hint, the best out of the 3. But let's start off at the beginning. This was the first one I bought. It was about $15. Now, when we start this one up, you're going to see it has beautiful music. Let me turn that down. And we have a choice of Chinese or English, of course, because we all want Chinese or English. And as you can see, it claims there are 500 games on here. Let's go back on the D-pad, and yeah, look at that. Mappy Good Hand. It does show 500 games. Now, are there actually 500 Nintendo games on this little mini computer here? No. Let's take a look here. So Contra 2, games like that, Jackal, those are legitimate games. But what about when we get to Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3? Yeah, those are legit. How about Super Mario 6 or 9 or 10 or 14? Okay. Ring any bells, anybody? So this is Super Mario 14. I guarantee you it was never designed by Nintendo. And you actually jump, you shoot, you have a staff. and it is a running shooter. These turtles will never stop coming at you. So as you can see, this is not a legitimate Nintendo game. This is something that somebody created, and that's what you are going to find the absolute most of on this device, is these, they call them homebrew games. Now, is the Game Boy Advance clone any better? Let's take a look. Alright, here you go. Now, as you can see, we have some very famous titles like Anger Bird 2, not Angry Birds, Ninja Cat, Hyper Olympic, F1 Race, you can't read that one, Mahjong, Macross, etc. But the key point here is take a look at the number of games. 111,000. So let's go back and see. Hey, look at that. Joust is game number 111,000, preceded by Karateka, Angry Bird. Okay, so how are there possibly 111,000 games on here? Oh, wait a minute, there's Joust again. Oh, wait a minute, there's Joust again. There's Joust again, etc. There are not 111,000 games on this thing, people. There are 20, maybe. Oh, wait. What happens if you take this cartridge out? Let's take a look. So I've taken the cartridge out. There is no cartridge in the device. Let's power this back on. Theoretically, with no cartridge, it shouldn't work. There we go. And hey, it's not Anger Bird 2 now, it's Anger Bird 4. And there are 700,000 games. Let's go back on the D-pad and see. And yes, there we go. Binary Land is the 700,000th game, with Anger Bird being 699,999. Again, people, they repeated the same 20 games 700,000 times. Wild. Do I consider this a ripoff? Is this a bad deal for 12 bucks? Hell no. Again, for a kid's not going to care. A kid's going to see 100,000 games and they're going to be tickled pink. And honestly, the quality of the games is good enough. Showing it on the camera like this doesn't do it justice. It does actually look better than that when you're actually playing them. So these two guys, for $10 to $15 for young kids, go for it. Lots of games, Mario, things like that, simple games they can play. The stuff that they don't understand or is all in Chinese or Japanese, it doesn't matter. There's 100,000 more where those. Now, last but not least is the little chicken here. Let's fire this guy up so you can actually see how he goes. I hope the camera picks this guy up, because this is actually really quite, there we go, quite nice. Now, as you can see, this game has 99 in one. Are there actually 99 though? Let's take a look. Hey, look at that. I pushed back on the D-pad, and as we can see, Dig Dug is a good game. Burger Time is a good game. Bomberman, F1 Race, Excite Bike, Galaga, Galaxian, Starfighter, etc., etc. But so in this one, we actually do have 99 games that are not repeated over and over and over again. Are they all original Nintendo games? Well, let's take a look at Game of Mars JJ. Has any of you ever played Game of Mars JJ before? I'm guessing probably not. Hey, that looks kind of familiar. What does that look like? You recognize that? World 1. Let's see here. Huh. That looks familiar. Anybody recognize this? Oh, hey. I wonder what's under this brick. There's a snail. I wonder what that snail will do. Oh, hey, I'm bigger. And I'm jumping over hedges that could have been pipes, if you looked at them in the right light. This is Super Mario Brothers, people, but they call it Super JJ something or other. This is wild. This is a perfect example of a homebrew game. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just Super Mario Brothers with a different character set. That's all it is. So, is this thing worth it for 20 bucks? Well, The screen, like I said, the camera doesn't do quality, is actually very, very good. I enjoy the screen on this a lot. It is an IPS screen, I believe, so you can look at it from different angles. You can plug it into a TV, but realistically, the AV connection on TVs is so crappy anyway, it's not worth it. As far as having a little handheld device that slides right into your pocket, nobody would ever know you had it, for playing on the bus, the train, waiting for a plane in the airport, sitting in a taxi, waiting for your food to arrive at the dinner table, in a restaurant, having this little guy here is a lifesaver. So even for older kids, this might have some nostalgia value. For me, I bought it because it was a freaking chicken. Alright guys, so those are my 3 8-bit retro gaming consoles. My first $15 Game Boy with 500 games. My second being the Game Boy Advance for about $12 with 811,000 games. And my little chicken, which actually has 99 games. Are they all legitimate Nintendo games? No. A lot of them are homebrew. Are these devices still fun? Absolutely. But what if I want to play 16-bit games, or 32-bit games, or 64-bit games? What can I do then? Check out my next video, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do. By the way, if you have any questions about these devices, or about anything I'm talking about in my videos, please let me know in the comments below. I will answer your questions, and I'm happy to do it. And while you're there, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, throw me a thumbs up, because that helps the YouTube algorithm to help other people find my videos. Thanks guys, and we will see you next time.